The disrespect that Bette Midler showed Joe Jackson kept me up in the morning. It was like 1:30 in the morning. And then I found out about this tweet that Bette Midler, the star, actress, comedian, kind of comedian. I don't know if she was a stand-up, but I know she was always in funny movies. Um, she was in The Rose, famous for Beaches, but actually my favorite movie of hers was Big Business, because Big Business, she was like a boss, she was running something, and she wanted to be on top of corporate America. Why I actually like Bette Midler. I liked her all the way up until now. I mean, she was so disrespectful. I don't know if she's on that Roseanne ambient type of tweeting late at night when you don't need to be tweeting information and things just off the top of your head, the utter disrespect that she has. I want to read to you what she said. I got to put my glasses on because I can't see worth the damn. So sorry about that. All right, so this is Bette Midler's tweet. Joe Jackson is DEAD. And hallelujah, a monster who ate his own children like an old Grecian myth. I hated every minute he lived. At times are strange, all times are strange, but this is really beyond the pale. Would Quincy Jones like to weigh in? Always interested. Okay, all right, so I mean, I did respond with something last night because I just felt like that's just utterly disrespectful. First of all, Joe Jackson never whooped your ass. He never put you in a position. You're watching like everybody else is watching, but do you understand the strength and courage of a man that had to fight in Gary, Indiana to get all of his children out of Gary, being a hustler, being someone that had to be a shrewd businessman, that had to be tight on his schedule with his family. He did some whooping, he did some yelling, he did some screaming. He was probably inappropriate a lot of the time, but what he was also doing, he was creating superstars for the world to enjoy. The world misses Michael today, but they miss the Michael that was actually helped and developed by Joe Jackson. That's the Michael everyone missed. The one that gave to the world with song and dance and entertainment. You have Janet Jackson, the most decorated female artist alive. I mean, what can you say about that? You got Jackson, the Jackson 5, the top group, the one of the best groups of all time to ever do it, to ever blaze a stage. The Jacksons' showmanship is like a family thing. It's more like I would say, it's more like an art. I mean, you can't just get on stage. And the people that are on stage now, they take something from the Jacksons. So just for her to be so disrespectful to Joe Jackson, as if she lived in the house, as if she was woken up in the middle of the night to rehearse, as if she was, beaten herself. This is so disrespectful. When do we get to a point where we're praising people that died that we don't even know? That says more about her than it does about actually just the idea of wanting bad for someone you consider as bad. But Michael Jackson loved Joe Jackson. Janet Jackson loved Joe Jackson. All his sons and family members and grandchildren, from Austin Brown to Prince Jackson, who recently made a video about the disrespect of his great grandfather. It's really, well, that's not his great grandfather, that's his grandfather. I done added a generation. Well, I really believe that it's out of hand. I mean, to cheer someone's death, especially somebody that you didn't really know or live with, you really can't say everything he did was bad, because he created so much good through his kids, you know, he had to be shrewd to get black boys out of Gary, Indiana, and lead them to superstardom, lead them to the top. He had to, and then he was going on uncharted territory. He didn't know what he was doing, but what he had was intuition. He had integrity. He had more of a fight. He had more of a back against the wall type of thing going on. It was like all the doors were no, but he saw yes through his children. His children love him. The fact that they love him and they're not the ones saying what you just said, Bette Midler, then it makes you look really silly, because you need to look them in the eye and you need to say that to their face. Don't just tweet and hide behind, you know, your residency, because you could lose that too. I mean, you could be boycotted and lose your whole career. You would want a Joe Jackson to fight for your career. You don't see that he fought for his children to get them where they had to go. Some things he had to sacrifice, but what I see is that he didn't do it by himself. I look at the fact that Katherine Jackson was the balance. She was the love. She was the balance that they needed. So if he was too harsh, Katherine was the polar opposite. So she gave them a lot of love that they felt they might have lacked from him. And that's what the good thing is. He didn't just raise them by himself. So it wasn't like they had full abuse and full burdens of pain and trouble. Sure, they wanted to call their dad Dad, not Joseph. Sure, they might have wanted him to be more loving, but that's not what they got. But they did get someone in Katherine Jackson that was overly loving, extra caring, extra giving. So they had that balance. So that's why they're so disciplined. You never heard about them just doing crazy things. A lot of the Jacksons keep the secrets, man. They more secretive than the government. So we find out shit later. We didn't know Janet was married until she got divorced after 10 years. I mean, it's a lot of stuff going on that they don't have to tell us. They're in the public eye, but it's a lot that they've kept from the public eye, which is very hard to do, you know, in Hollywood. So you just got to be more sensitive. You just got to be more compassionate. Just to say that, imagine, I just wanted you to see the looks on Paris' face, the looks on Her Majesty, Genevieve Jackson. These are grandchildren and great-grandchildren and of Joe Jackson, the patriarch of the Jackson family that's just passed away. Just imagine them seeing your tweet. Just imagine them reading your tweet. I mean, it's the nerve and the comfortability. I mean, it has. I know a lot of people hate Trump. They don't like that he's able to say what he wants to say and tweet about it. But the fact is, it's like you're following suit. You know, you're saying things that are influential. It's some people that agree with you, but it's almost like you're cultivating a heartless part of society which thinks it's okay to talk about people that have died of terminal cancer. I think that's enough torture, enough to have cancer, to die in a painful way. That's enough torture. That's enough time for reflection. And if you read his last statement on Twitter a couple of days before he passed away, you would see that this is a man that reflected and appreciated what he's actually came to have and has no regrets. And he would do it all over again the same exact way, because what he cultivated was something that we will never see again. We will never see a family, a dynasty of that nature, all develop in a way where each one has their own persona, personality, success. And I'm not talking about the Kardashians. I'm talking about people that have talent, people that are of the entertainment music world that is appreciated, that sells millions of records, and that writes hit songs and things like that. entertains unbelievably. Janet's 52 and killing it better than people half her age, and looks better than people half her age. Then you have the Jackson. The Jacksons are still touring. They're still sought after. You know, so it's so much. Austin Brown is performing. Reeby's son. You know, all across the country, and plays 5 instruments, sings, dances, so much that the Jacksons have, and it's so Your Majesty. Your Majesty, Jermaine's son, sounds just like Michael Jackson, and you know they all are similar in their tone, that quiver tone. But there's a video of him singing in some country, and he sounds just like Michael Jackson. He sounds like Michael from Off the Wall. Like, they need to really sign him like really quick. There's so much to offer, so many Jacksons that hasn't even came out to be anything in the entertainment industry, but I feel like it's so much gold there. I mean, record companies need to be mining the Jackson community of family members, all the grandkids. He had 29 grandchildren, and you know, all his kids, most of his kids were alive, you know, at the time of his death. So they don't appreciate it, Bette Midler. I don't appreciate it, Bette Midler. And you need to apologize or take the tweet down. No, apologize. You need to apologize, because you just defended Janet about Justin Timberlake when he did the Super Bowl. You said he owed Janet an apology. I believed it too, you know. But now I believe you owe Janet and all the rest of the Jackson family an apology, because some part of me that loves your movies, some part of me knows that you know you were out of place, you were out of line, and you don't want nobody to rejoice when you pass. So you guys let me know. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Follow the links at the bottom and subscribe to my channel. I'm going to have more of a mix of everything dealing with entertainment, and I'm going to have some how-to things going on in terms of writing, acting, directing, all of these different things. I wrote a book. Go to scareofthelight.com. You can purchase it at Amazon. You can purchase it at Barnes & Nobles, but it's a lot of places, so you can search Scare of the Light, The Dream Memoirs of Russell Banks by Darrell Harper. This is it right here. Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Hitting me up, and I appreciate you. Peace.